right? All right, terrific. So, you guys, ladies, we are here to explore senior field merchandiser leadership training. As I love to call it, it's SFM. I don't know. I never say all these long drawn out words or titles. As much as I can, I abbreviate. So I'll be referring to senior field merchandiser, your position as an SFM throughout the training today. So I hope that works for you. Um, my name's Linda Walters. I'm the corporate training manager here with L&R in case I haven't had the pleasure of working with you yet. You and I will be working together as you continue on this journey as an SFM. I'll work with you from a training perspective and provide tools or additional training or insight into the world of where are we going with training and trainers and anything new that comes aboard. Why generally I'll share it with yourselves and or your district managers, of course, but I tend to hit the ground running once I get direction from Jonathan, our VP of HR, and John, our VP of merchandising, and I work pretty closely with those gentlemen, and Mike Wilchin, of course, extremely close. So those are the three that I kind of identify with and take direction from, and then support the bigger picture for the company. So that's my role here. And today I have the pleasure of taking you through just some additional insight into this role. Now, I understand some of you have been in this role for a while. You've been doing, kind of just working your way through, maybe even figuring it out as you went. If you're brand new to the role, this will be hopefully some valuable new information for you. And if you've been working this role for a while, hopefully it's going to just confirm that you've been going in the right direction, maybe give you some helpful tidbits on how to accomplish the end result a little bit easier or smoother. And we'll have some dialogue as we work through the content today. Just like all of the other trainings, after today, I will send you a follow-up email that contains the training deck, because some of the information is valuable for you to be aware of, but I don't necessarily need to teach on it today. So for instance, I'm going to share with you what is the current information that our new hires receive during their new hire week, their first week on the job. It's important that you're aware of what have they already heard, what have they already seen. But I don't necessarily need to teach you about that. You just need to have it at your fingertips so you can refer to it. All right. So that's going to be a little bit of today's information as well, and it'll be included in my follow-up email for you. Along with that follow-up email, there's also going to be some attachments that I'll be referencing throughout the training today, and I'm hoping they will assist you as you continue working in this new leadership role with L&R. Today's training is really stepping back and taking a look, ladies, at not only a trainer's role as an SFM, but the leadership side of this role also. Because you're going to be wearing two hats, and some of you have already been wearing both hats. You are kind of that left arm or that right arm for your district manager. You're the individuals who have the eyes on the operation. You're very focused on what's happening out there specifically in the stores within the territories you're assigned. You are the eyes and ears that your DMs lean into. But you're also working with those reps who are assigned to those stores. Hey, you meet with them and you go, hey, have you ever tried X, Y, and Z? Or I have a really helpful hint for you to maybe spruce this up. Or I see that you're kind of challenged and you're not getting the right things. Maybe we should step back and look at your planograms. So you're working from a leadership role, and then you're also working from a trainer's role. So you've got two hats that you're juggling on a fairly regular basis. And sometimes that's easy and sometimes that's difficult. And we're going to hopefully talk through and give you a little bit of assistance with both hats as we go through the material today. So with that said, what is the purpose for today? Well, first off, the purpose is to provide information on how to execute your SFM role and to carry out specific processes to benefit the districts that to be successful. It's going to come down to yourselves and your colleagues, and of course your district managers, to really drive the sales, the price points, the product analysis, the supply, the delivery, the customer service. All of that sits on your shoulders, along with, of course, your district managers. It's a lot of weight you're carrying. So we hopefully will help lighten the load in giving you some information today. Secondly, it's to advance your knowledge and instill greater motivation to enhance job performance. We are always learners. We never step out of that role. Even if we're the CEO, Jim Athey, he's always learning. And so it doesn't matter what silly title we have. We just need to acknowledge that I don't know it all. I've got to continually have my learner's hat on as well, because there's always something new and fresh for me to learn. Or, of course, working for LNR, as we all have realized, it's constantly changing. We're a change agent out there in this industry. We are constantly striving and trying to improve our processes, enhance our people, enhance our delivery, our product. We're expanding. We're definitely changing on a pinwheel. Like it's just constant. It's as fast as a dime can spin. So that's one of the goals today, and the purpose behind it is to just continually to acknowledge that we do need to adapt to the change, but also to acknowledge that we are learners forever. Thirdly, it's to educate and set SFMs in motion on behalf of LNR, and then to strengthen your existing skills and help you learn any new ones that you feel like, I don't really know that. Maybe, you know what, Linda, I'm in charge of setting up authentication and I don't even know how to do it myself. Or I know how to use Repsly, but what is this back office that I hear about? So we're going to take a look at some of that and introduce that language to you. The desired learning outcomes for today, my friends, is understanding key qualities of a trainer and a leader, defining people-centric, recognizing the leader in you, best practices, how to add the human touch, and application and knowledge. So these are some of the components that we're going to work through today together. Now, again, today is it's all going to be smushed, if you will, into a couple of hours of training. I am going to stay pretty high level, but I want you to know that my door is open. So if you get out there and you're like, you know what, Linda was talking about this, but we weren't able to go as deep as I really need to understand this concept, please feel free to reach out to me. All right. And we can talk through that one-on-one, and we can explore whatever it is that you're still having questions about. Because again, when we're in this type of a setting and we're working with a larger audience, we can't go as deep, as rich as we need to for some of the concepts. So what qualities define a leader? Remember, as an SFM, you wear a leader's hat and you wear an SFM hat, right? Let's start with the leader's role. What are some of those qualities, ladies, that you feel define you as a leader in your role? And please go ahead and go off of mute. Just shout them out if you'd like. Anyone?
Yes.
Go ahead, Holly.
I am a positive motivator.
Excellent. I like that. Yes, we need positivity, don't we?
Yes, we do.
We do. Okay, good. Thank you. Anyone else?
I like to find the positive in what people are already doing.
Terrific. Good. And you like to encourage and acknowledge that positivity, I'm guessing, Juanita, with your team?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, excellent. I see Jamie's thumb was up there. Go right ahead. I think that was Pamela. Pamela, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I believe in the positivity of empowering people and being out there, supporting them to help them succeed in their job.
Right.
And letting them know that we're there to support them.
Exactly. So we want to encourage, we want to motivate them, we want to walk beside them. There's so many valuable traits that leaders need, but I think sometimes people get lost in the title and think, oh no, that's not my role, that's somebody else's role. Everything you ladies just shared, all of that is valuable as a leader and does help define them. Other qualities are you empower people. We want to train up people and we want to empower them. This is your territory. These are your stores. You are empowered to, write your own orders, shelf it, take care of it, own it. We empower them to take on those stores and those territories. We inspire people. That's another thing that I think you ladies all highlighted was inspiration. And you do that through your positive outlook. We share a vision. So leaders should always know, what is the vision? What is the mission that we're on? And I can't just keep it to myself. I need to ensure that I'm sharing that with my colleagues so that we are all pursuing the same goal. Today, I was in a meeting early this morning and we were talking about the new 2025 metrics and KPIs. That's valuable information that will cascade down to everyone in merchandising, to everyone who works in the warehouses, to sales. 2025 is kicking off and we need to know, what are we pursuing? What's going to help drive us this year? What are the goals? What are those metrics? And that's part of leadership, is to share that vision. And then, of course, leaders, they lead change, right? Leaders need to not be afraid of change and go hide from it. Instead, they should step out in front and lead it. They should charge ahead because change is inevitable. So those are some additional qualities that do help define a leader and define you in your role as an SFM. Now let's go one step further. Some people, when I take them through training, they say, oh, Linda, leader is the boss. They're my supervisor. They're the ones calling the shots. Well, if we really stop and break it down, we'll recognize that boss versus leader, those are two different people. And generally, once we break it down, we recognize it's the leader that we want to work for, that we want to call on and ask for assistance and guidance. A boss, my friends, is someone who really just dictates, here's what the mission is, here's what the project is, go do it. I'm going to sit here in my office, you go do it. They are the individual that oversees the employees in an organization from more or less backstage, from that desk. But a leader, such as yourselves, a leader is someone who entrenches themselves right into the center of the activity. They immerse themselves. They can't help but be immersed. Leaders possess the ability to influence, and they inspire others towards the goal that is put out there. But they don't sit backstage and watch it play out. They're part of it. That is a leader. They influence, they inspire, and people desire to be with them. Leaders aren't leaders without people to follow them. But why does somebody want to follow somebody else? It's because we've decided we trust that person. We value that person. We've watched them from afar perform, and we want to learn from them. We want to be immersed in their presence. We choose to follow. That makes that person a leader. Now, let me ask you something, ladies. Does a leader need to have a title?
No.
And no, you're right, Juanita. How come a leader doesn't need a title?
If they possess the ability to be a leader, then they know how to get people to do the things that are needed without being a boss.
Right. Exactly. Leaders don't need titles whatsoever. Leaders can be, and they don't need a boss's title. Leaders can be, my child could be leading me because I'm watching them perform, I don't know, some technology on a computer that they know way better than I, and I choose to follow them. I want to immerse myself in their presence so they can train me, so they can teach me, so I can follow their instructions. So I too can get to the end result that they did. Leaders don't need a title. Here's a difference painted for us as we look at both. And I'm sorry, I may have to pull my curtain here in a minute. The sun decided to come out, which is a blessing, but it's blinding me. So bosses versus leaders. Bosses, they drive employees. Leaders coach them. That's what we want to do. Bosses manage people. Leaders mentor. That's what you do. Bosses intimidate and leaders inspire. Who doesn't want to be inspirational? Bosses depend on authority and leaders depend on and lead on goodwill. Goodwill. Boss has the I mindset. Leaders has the we. When you have your trainer's hat on, you're all about the we. You're not out there doing it yourself. You're doing it with the new hire and you're training them up to be the next subject matter expert. It's all about the we. Bosses utilize others, leaders develop others. Bosses take credit, leaders give credit. I've had that boss who takes all the credit. It's like, wait, I just did all that, or this team just did all that. Where were you? But they took the credit. But leaders don't do that. They don't even have a desire to do that. They want to give the credit where the credit is due. That right there needs an applaud. That is just spectacular when you come across those people. Bosses command, leaders ask. Bosses resist change, and leaders adapt to change. I think this diagram here breaks it down so that when you really go, okay, am I a boss or am I a leader? It's easy to see where you fall. And some of us might have some characteristics that fall under the boss, and that's okay, because those are developmental opportunities for us. And we get to own those and we get to work on them. We just don't want to completely fall into the boss category because it's going to be hard for our new hires or those people who need a refresh training or people that we're trying to work with out in the field from a store perspective that we're trying to develop that work relationship with, that professional relationship with. It's hard to do that if we're always in the boss category. We want to be leaders, true essential leaders. That makes sense, ladies? Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Good. Okay. So I'm going to go on, but I have to apologize here. I have to pull this down because I can't see anything on my screen. Oh, much better. I apologize. Sorry about that. Okay. So as we then move on, I really wanted to just put this in here so I could, again, remind us all that as a leader and a trainer, we have a passion that just bleeds from within us out to others. Leaders and trainers have a passion to see others around us rise. We can't help but be excited and get goosebumps when we're training people and all of a sudden we see the light bulbs go off. How exciting is that? It still makes me excited. I love it. Leaders and trainers, they stand tall. They put their hand out and they say, grab my hand. Let me pull you up to the next boulder. Grab my hand. I'm here for you. I will assist you to rise up. Leaders and trainers have that ability and they take advantage of it. And when they do, it gives them goosebumps because they recognize it's just part of being that leader and being that trainer for others. Super exciting when we think of that. Now, let's look at your other hat. So your other hat as an SFM is a trainer. So ladies, what qualities would you say define a trainer? Just go ahead and shout some out.
Good communication.
Good communication. That is so essential, isn't it? Does not matter in what position we have, but as a leader and a trainer, we better be communicators, huh? Excellent. Thank you, Elizabeth. I think that was Elizabeth.
Yes.
Good. What else? What other qualities?
Being kind and gentle to the people you're working with.
Oh, that's so nice, Juanita. Have you ever had a trainer who was kind of rough and raw or more interested in what was on their phone?
Yes.
Me too. It's been a long time, but I have. And what happens? What happens to the person that is there to be trained?
If they were like me, they backed off and backed away.
Exactly. And then we risk the chance that they're going to back all the way and go, no, I don't want to work for this company. If they don't care about me during my training, what's going to happen after that? They're going to just forget about me. So good communication is so important. Caring about those people is definitely important. What other qualities?
You have to show them that you're patient, because they are going to be slow. It's going to take time for them to learn, and you need to show them that you're patient, that you're there for them. They can take the time that they need, and it makes them feel unnervous when you give them that perspective.
It really does. Patience. And I think when we talk patience, Pam, that is, excuse me, a true description of a trainer. Because we can be subject matter experts. I could be a subject matter expert at using the program Excel, but it doesn't mean I can teach it. It means I can perform it. And then you go one step further. Okay, I can teach it to you, but am I still a trainer? Not necessarily, because as I'm training it to you, I'm getting all worked up and upset because you're not understanding what I'm teaching you. I'm not exhibiting the patience, the calmness. I don't know how to redirect the training so that this person's learning style is grabbing hold of what I'm trying to share. I need to be able to adapt. I need to be able to calm down and adjust what I'm doing for that new hire. Patience is so valuable in your role when you're wearing a trainer's hat. I love that one. Thank you. Any others?
Tolerance.
Oh my gosh, tolerance. Thank you, Juanita. That's very good. You're going to probably work with tolerance on a fairly regular basis, aren't you? Yes. And parenting, I think, I'd love to say parenting was my practice, or being a grandparent, but I don't know. I'm probably still working on that one. I'm probably still working on my patience level too. Thank you. I like that one. All right, let's go back to the grid here. So on the slide, I just put a few of them up. Trainers are defined by being great communicators. They are effective facilitators. They're passionate about teaching. They're also subject matter experts. They have to know their stuff. They are respectful and patient and ready for the unexpected. Trainers have to adapt all the time. Your person arrives to you an hour late and you're like, oh my gosh, we have 2 more stores plus this one, plus we have to do that, and you have to morph the schedule for the day. You always have to be prepared for that unexpected, don't you? So those are
Absolutely.
Yes, those are qualities that help define a trainer. And as we look even deeper at trainers teach and coach employees. Trainers are mentors. They inspire. They depend and lead on goodwill. Trainers need to have the we attitude, just like leaders do. Trainers develop others, they give credit, and they adapt. So if you recall, when we looked at the leader description not too long ago, the characteristics that define the leader versus the boss were almost identical to a trainer. Trainers are leaders, leaders are trainers. So they're almost one in the same hat, and yet they are two separate hats that we wear. Any questions about what I'm sharing with you at this point? Any comments? Okay. So as we take a look once again at that leader versus trainer, who is a leader? Well, a leader is someone who leads a team, who spearheads a project. They're subject matter experts in their field, but they also share their knowledge and skill sets with others. They are those who pursue excellence. They inspire, motivate, and encourage. They cast vision and live out the mission. Leaders can come from all walks of life. They are merchandisers, they are account managers, they are warehouse employees, they are sales, IT, purchasers, project managers. They are creative design associates, product vendors. Leaders come from all over. And the same for trainers. Trainers are someone who creates connections to foster that sense of team. They have the ability to instill a contagious commitment, trust, and an emotional safety for new associates. Emotional safety. That's pretty important, everyone. They are those who pursue excellence. They remember the details. They also inspire, motivate, and encourage those around them. Trainers in your industry are field merchandisers, SFMs, DMs, RMs, senior directors, myself. There are CEO, they are senior VPs. We have leaders in our company who are not trainers, but we are very blessed here with L&R where the majority of our leaders, they too are trainers. They exhibit the qualities that we just took a look at. As John Quincy Adams is so famously known for, he shared a quote, and it goes like this: if your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader. And we could all plunk in and change the word leader to trainer. If your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you're a trainer, because that's what a trainer does. This quote is so true for yourselves in the position you now have with L&R as an SFM. You dream, you learn, you do more, you become more every time you put on that trainer's hat and every time you put on your leader hat. Love this quote. So people-centric training leadership, what does this mean? Have you ladies ever heard of people centricity? Now, Jamie, I recognize you might have just from, being in certain meetings with me and whatnot, but have you guys ever heard this? Anyone? Yes, no, maybe?
Nope.
No?
No.
Okay,
No.
good. All right, well, let me teach you a little bit about people centricity. People centricity became the buzzword about 3 or 4 years ago. I mean, it was around before that, but corporations really started honing into it and developing it as part of their culture. It's called people centricity. And it really came about when we started understanding the millennials and the Gen Zers and the type of individuals that companies were pursuing as potential hiring candidates. And the reason being is it's just a different mindset that those individuals have. So our millennials and our Gen Zers come in with a mindset of, what are you as a company going to do for me? What are you going to do for me? Here's what my personal world looks like. Now, as a company, how are you going to fit into that? And what are you offering to me? That's a new mindset from back in my day when I used to hire for jobs. It was, you're pouring out everything that you have in you to say, here's why I'm valuable to you. Here's why you should hire me. That's a little different now. And if you start sitting in on interviews, you're going to be hearing some of that. Instead, the mindset is, what are you as a company going to do for me? So when we as LNR started owning this new thought process of people centricity, we recognized we had to change our interview questions. We needed to change our mindset, and we really needed to develop strategies within our company as to what are we going to do to try to help retain these new individuals who have this different outlook. And through that, in adopting that, why we've made some changes in structural things within the HR side and within the training side of things as well. People-centric training leadership is really just means like fostering a work balance, or fostering a life-work balance versus a work-life balance. So that's where all of a sudden we hear people going, well, I want to work 3 days a week and I'll work, 3 days a week and I'll work a 10-hour shift, but I've got X, Y, and Z going on in my personal world. And you need to, as a company, adapt to that. And again, back in the day, it was a work life. It was it's a job. I've applied for it. I'm going to put in 40 hours and my personal time will happen on the weekend. Or I might have to work a Saturday or here or there. It was just a different mindset is all it's about. And the thinking has flipped. So with that said, as we look at these different columns, people-centric training and leadership is placing people at the heart of everything. It's about the people. It's not about the job first. It's not about this job requires X, Y, and Z, and it has to happen today. Instead, as I'm always training on a regular basis, we have to step back and we need to understand the people. Who are these people that work for LNR? Who are our colleagues? Who are the associates? Do we know their actual name or do we just know them by title? Do they have kids? How are they feeling today? We need to understand the people because they are the heart of this company. People centricity also means valuing each employee as an individual and not just as their title. This is a tough one. Sometimes leaders and bosses get lost in it. But we need to always try to keep it at the forefront. Value the employee as an individual, not as their job title. It means addressing the personal side of employees, hearing their feelings and needs. Feelings. In the last 5 years, feelings. It's a big word out there that we all are trying to wrap our head around. You mean I'm okay to ask, how are you feeling today? That's not a bad thing for me to do. I can ask that personal question. Yes, you can. How are you feeling today? How are things going for you? What do you need? What do you need in your schedule? What do you need in your day? What do you need when it comes to tools and equipment? Having some of that personal dialogue. Building connections with team members and then understanding what colleagues need to perform at their best. That's those tools. How do we support them? LNR has stepped up to the plate in the merchandising arena by just various conversations that I've had. And we're going, okay, we bring these people in and we say, here's what you need to support your job, but we're not supplying it. Let's value these individuals and not basically say, go buy your own duster, go buy your own do it. So, supply these things. So now our company supplies them at our cost. That's the right thing to do. But it came from understanding where are we at, where do we need to be, and what do people need for the job that we're hiring them to do. And it's also taking a little bit further and understanding one size does not fit all. So this might be, here's what the model is going to be around people centricity and getting to know our staff and our colleagues, but it doesn't mean that one size fits all. And here's an example. I'm standing at a water cooler. I'm having a conversation with Joe Schmo over here, and the conversation's going very well. I'm getting to know them on a little bit richer level. They're getting to know me. We're just swapping stories, if you will. Well, I stand there a little bit longer. I fill up my cup again with water. Someone else walks up, and I attempt to have the same type of conversation, and it doesn't go anywhere. I have to adapt that conversation. It's a whole different person. It's not a cookie cutter conversation that I can train you to have, but it is an encouraging conversation that you can have and that I want to share with you, in that find a way to get to know the people. Right? As trainers and leaders, we do that on a regular basis. You meet your new hires at the front door, and what should you be doing first? Get to know them. That's how they're going to learn to trust you. That's your hook to reel them in, and they get to know you, to trust you, to want to follow you, to want to be beside you. Just spend a little time getting to know each other. Not necessarily their work abilities, more of the personal side of things. Right? That, my friends, is people-centric. So now let me ask you this. How does someone become a people-centric trainer or people-centric leader? How do I become that? I'm not very good at, let's call it small talk. And some people aren't good at it at all. All right. So how do I become this individual so that I can grow, and so that I can be the type of trainer or leader I need to be in today's times? First off, let's not confuse being people-centric with offering employee experiences. That's not people centricity. So by offering employee experiences, meaning, okay, I'm going to give my new hires a goodie basket, a free breakfast bar. I'm going to high five them every time I walk by them at their desk. I'm going to send them little emojis in an email once a week. Those are short-lived experiences. That's not true people centricity. True people centricity is, you know them. You know they work three jobs. You know they are a single dad taking care of and raising 3 children. You know a little bit about them. Again, back in my day when I first started working, people didn't care that if I had a family or if I, took care of a grandmother. It was more, clock in, do your job, clock out. Okay, bye, see you tomorrow. But that is not true these days, ladies. It's not true. And that's only just because with our millennials and our Gen Zers, times have changed. And we all know that. We all see it to one degree or another. And companies need to adapt if we're going to be able to hire the right people, retain them, and be able to lead them properly. We have to embrace people centricity. Okay. When it comes to the human touch and being a people-centric trainer or a people-centric leader, it really comes down to infusing humanity, because this will foster an environment that is then going to be welcoming, and it will provide the learners the space to soar. When you infuse humanity into your interactions. And that's what you want, ladies. You want to train these individuals up so they too can soar. We want them to grow. Your leaders, your DMs should want that for you. Otherwise, you should probably be having a heart-to-heart conversation with them. Right? When we infuse humanity into our interactions, we do that by removing barriers. Right? There shouldn't be barriers so that you cannot exceed, so that you cannot grow. And that could just be that you have an open door policy to call your DM and say, could we have a one-on-one every other week? Or I've got a question. Could you train me on this? Or could you maybe reach out to Linda and see if she could train it? Or, whatever that looks like. Barriers come down. Words of encouragement. Who doesn't want words of encouragement? I've got to tell you guys, I love words of encouragement. Love them. Okay? Words of encouragement. You're doing well today. You're on the right track today. Wow, your goal, your metrics just jumped from 27% to 32%. Wow, look at that story. Your pictures today knock it out of the ballpark. Words of encouragement. Now, we also have to lead with direction. And sometimes we have to reel them back and we have to have those harder conversations. But those harder conversations are also encouragement because you're training them to be a better field merchandiser. It's just the choice of words that need to be significant and impactful, but not rude and inconsiderate. Open lines of communication, providing opportunities for trial and error, mentorship. That's something you have the ability to do because when you're training your new hires, you work through the beginning, the intermediate, and the advanced checklist. Don't let go of those new hires. Follow up with them maybe 2 weeks later or 30 days later and just say, send them a little email. Hey, this is Linda. I'm just checking in on you. You've been out there in the field for 30 days. How are you feeling? Anything I can help you with? Maybe 2 weeks later after that, you're going to send them another email. Wow, I saw your pictures. You're doing great. Keep up the good work. Right? That's encouragement. It's mentorship. It's keeping the lines of communication open. You are a face, and typically you're the second face that they see, these new hires. They meet with me. I hand them over to you. You are the second face. And really, you're it because you're meeting them in the field. You're spending quality personal time with them. You're their mentor. You're probably going to be the person they reach out to if they have a problem. Right? So human touch is going to be real important for you. Regular touch point follow-ups, getting to know that individual and really understanding what motivates and drives them. And then what's not under here is being empathetic. Remembering when you were that new hire, maybe you came into the LNR with 30 years of merchandise experience, but you'd never worked for the company. You had that first day on the job, there's a little anxiousness, isn't there? Like, wonder what I should expect. Wonder what my trainer's going to be like. Wonder how the day is going to flow. All of this. So as trainers and leaders, we need to be able to constantly put ourselves in their shoes and remember how it felt. And then figure out how are we going to pull them out of there again so they can be successful. So the human touch is very important when we're talking people centricity. So next steps, ladies, where do we go from here? We've just learned about people centricity. I've given you a little bit of insight into it. How do you become a people-centric person? What is the human touch? How do we infuse this into our leadership and our training styles? Well, next steps would be providing your colleagues with the right tools. Do you give them a zip file before you meet them so they have all this information online that they can read? When you show up, do you have tools that they're going to be needing for that day? Do you follow up with them with a variety of maybe some documents or whatever it is they might need? Providing colleagues with the right training. Maybe your DM said, okay, you've got 2 days to train them. You go out, maybe you only get through the basic checklist and you realize, wow, I still have the intermediate and advanced. This person is going to need longer. Communicate with your DM, right? And let's give these people what they need. Resources. Give them resources. If you're not available, here's who they should call. If they need a check on X, Y, and Z, here's who they should reach out to. Make sure they understand how the company is set up. Give them your time. when you are scheduled to be with someone, or maybe you're on a call with them, don't jump on your phone and take other questions. Don't, oh, my supervisor's calling me, I got to do this, X, Y, and Z. All right. Don't go try to put out other fires. Make that person feel special. Let them know that they are the center of your attention because you are there with them to train them to become that subject matter expert. Training exists because of that other individual, which training is 75% of your job. Authenticity and transparency, we need to build trust. How do we build trust? By being real. And then being that role model. You want to be the right role model for your colleagues, and we want to ensure that we put the right role models around them as well. Those are next steps around people centricity. Okay. There are leaders and there are trainers all around L&R. And there are leaders and trainers in multiple businesses, in all kinds of business units and tiers. And really all we have to do, ladies, is just pause, look around, and we'll see those leaders and trainers rise up. Because we'll see people who want to follow them. We'll see the richness in their conversations, the way that people lean in or watch from afar. You can easily spot those leaders and trainers around you. And that's why I want to inspire you to become or to continue being. Right? People centricity. Any questions about people centricity that you have for me or comments? It's something we're going to encourage you to embrace. Anything you want to share? No? Okay. All right.
Oh, I'll share, guys. I'll share
Go ahead.
something. Excuse me. I should raise my hand. I'm not used to doing that. Excuse me for
No,
that.
you don't need to with me. Just go for it.
Okay. Well, I have several reps, and I have one who a little standoffish and such. So the bottom line is, I found out because I need to cover one of her stores because her grandchild had a concert. And the minute I heard that, I thought, bingo, there's how I'm going to connect with her. So he is her light and joy, and I ask about him all the time, and she sings like a bird. And that's how I broke down her. She was a little standoffish, and I'm very outgoing and friendly. And I just kind of picked up on that. If you ever have somebody who's just kind of, you need to listen to them, and you will get cues from them what is important in their life. And then when you start to ask them about that, I feel that that is a really good place to start. Just listen to them, and you will learn something you can pinpoint with them to break the ice if you need an icebreaker with somebody. And it worked.
Exactly,
Yep.
Holly. You exhibited people centricity. Yes.
Oh,
You listened and you reacted to it.
yes. Thank you. I didn't know I did that. Well, good job,
yeah.
Holly.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't
Exactly.
know.
Yeah. Listening is as we all know, it's an extraordinary tool. It really is. But you did the right thing. I mean, you listened, you discovered they have a grandchild, and boom, there's a easy access into further conversation about, well, who is this person? So wonderful. Yay, you. Good job. Yeah. Anyone else want to share?
I had the opportunity to retrain someone about a month ago, and she had not been visiting her stores. And we found out after she and I got into a conversation just in general that her car had broke down and it had blown its motor. And she had no way to, fix it or resources. So I shared with her some resources that would help. And she's called me several times since just to check and see how things are going with me. And I said, well, I called you the other day and left you a message. She said, yep, I got it. And I smiled.
Oh, Juanita, that's so special. I love that. Doesn't that touch your heart?
Oh, yes.
Oh my goodness, I love that. See, there you go. There's people centricity working at its best. Good job, ladies. I mean, that story, that's lovely. I love that. It's so valuable when we take time to get to know our peers and our colleagues. But don't you feel good when someone asks you questions about who you are or what's going on in your world or what they can do for you? I mean, it feels good because it means, wow, someone's watching me, someone cares about me, someone's taking a vested interest in me versus why isn't my set filled or why is my order X, Y, and Z? They're noticing me. People do want to be noticed. They want to work remote in this industry. They don't want us breathing over their shoulder, but they also don't want to be completely ignored. I mean, people need people. I love that. Thank you for sharing that story with me. I'm going to remember that one. Do you mind if I ever share that again?
You can do it.
All right, good. Okay, so ladies, let's go ahead and move on here. We are going to adjust now, and we're going to move into some of the tangibles. We're going to talk about application and knowledge. Now, I'm looking at my phone, and we are almost at the halfway mark of our time together. Would you like to have a few minutes to get up and stretch and move around for a few minutes? How are you doing?
I'm in my recliner. I'm
I'm
good.
good. I'm good.
Anybody need a break, a bathroom break? You need to fill your coffee cup? Okay, Holly, yes. All right, so let's just take a few minutes, ladies, go take care of needs and then come right back. Don't disconnect, all right? But make sure you're on mute so we can't, hear what's going on in your home or wherever you are. Okay, so just take a few minutes and then we are going to jump back into the content. Okay, I see we're starting to come back together here. Go ahead and get yourselves situated.
Thank you, everyone, for letting me interrupt the program. It was just
You know,
me.
it's
Thank
good
you.
to have, it's good to take just a stretch. It's necessary. Keep the blood flowing for sure.
Yeah. Thank
Let
you.
me just, you're welcome. Let me make sure Elizabeth and Jamie, are you back as well?
Yes.
Okay, Elizabeth and Jamie. Okay, wonderful. All right, we're all here. So at this point, ladies, what we're going to do is we're going to, once again, we're going to jump into application and knowledge. So we're going to continue with the desired learning outcomes through this process. So let me go ahead up to the top. We're going to talk just a few minutes about the hook. I'll introduce the hook to you. I'm going to introduce to you types of learners. We're going to talk about OJT, on the job training. Trainers checklist, that would be the LNR 3 trainers checklist. I'm not sure if you've had a chance to work with those yet or not. We're going to talk about Power BI, the field planning tool, and our lovely authenticator. We're going to talk about updates on the tablet, and then do you know? So those are some topics we're going to jump into next. Let's start with the hook. So the hook is just a name I came up with. Actually, I shouldn't even say that. I think I probably adopted it from back in my Disney days. We used to use the hook when I developed training and development Disney as a tool for our trainers to reel in their new hires or their participants in their training to want to be there and to really want to be part of the conversation. So we called it a hook. How do you reel those individuals in within the first 15 minutes? Because that's really all you have. 15 minutes, you either have them and they're going to stick by you, or you're going to lose their attention. And throughout the day, they're going to be checking their phone. They might be late to the next store. They're going to want to use the bathroom constantly. You've lost them. So what does that hook look like for a trainer? As a trainer, when we talk hook, it begins with being prepared. And that begins from the time that you're told you have a new hire coming. So are you going to share information that is necessary for them, such as we have reset starting, here's everything they need to know, here's reset numbers, etc. And they're not going to get that information because it came out 2 weeks ago, but they're going to need it now that they've been hired. That type of information is information you should be gathering and either putting into some kind of a hardcover manual, you know, like a notebook that you're going to tangibly give to them, or perhaps you put it into a zip file and then you're just forwarding it in an email to them and they can open it and here's all of those documents and bits and pieces they're going to need. Being prepared is a schedule. What is that training schedule going to look like? How many days do you have with them? Do they have anything that you need to work around? And then, of course, getting into the field planning tool and looking to see when are the orders due in for these stores? Do we need to release orders? Do we need to hold an order and not have it ship out yet? What does that look like? That's all part of your preparation. And then, of course, your personal world. Are you going to be available? Did you have a doctor's appointment that either you need to plan around or rearrange? What does that look like? The hook also includes first impressions. All right, you told the person to arrive at your store, meet you at 7 a.m. right in the front of the store. You told them you were going to be in a red sweater. I don't know, you'd have a black bag over your shoulder. Whatever that meant, whatever that information was that you shared, you ensured you were on time, which is our third item here. You were ready to go. You had on what you said you would, and you're standing where you said you would be. You made sure you had good night's sleep the night before, so you're chipper and you're pleasant, you're not tired and cranky. And you made sure the night before that your bag had everything you needed, plus what you would need for your new hire. Maybe you got to the store early, so that again is be on time, be ready to go. You get there a little early, You've already walked around the store, so you know what the condition of the store is. You know what managers are there in that particular store. Also, maybe you set aside a little space in their employee break room, or maybe over in the cafe if they have one, for the two of you to sit down initially and just have a little small talk. Maybe talk about something you've already emailed to them, talk about their day, what the training plan is. How is this going to work? Because remember, as human beings, we want to know what, where, when, why, how. And we really want to know that in the first 5 to 10 minutes. So you have all that organized and you're ready to go. That's part of your hook. Okay. When you're there with them in that first 15 minutes, you're modeling the L&R vision and mission. You might even state the L&R vision. You might even have it pre-printed on a pencil. I don't know. But you're living and breathing the vision and the mission, the 10 core leadership principles. In addition, part of your hook encompasses that you mean what you say and you're going to do what you teach. You're not going to take shortcuts, even though you're telling them, this is how this should be done. Oh, but today I'm going to do this for sake of time. Nope. We don't take shortcuts when we're with our new hires or when we're retraining, or even when we're out conducting an audit and we happen to then work beside the rep that's assigned to that store, right? We are consistent in what we teach, we perform. What we perform is what we teach. And then we remember that details make the difference. That's why we don't take shortcuts. Details make the difference. Okay? It's so important to teach the details, not miss them, and then have your new hires or your individuals that you're retraining, if you will, giving them a refresh. It's important that they then reiterate the instructions you've shared or they perform the instructions you've asked them to do and to follow. Okay, that's the hook. How are you going to capture their attention in the first 15 minutes? Because that's all you have, my friends, in order for them to give everything over to you for the rest of the training period. And it's also all we have for them not to walk out the door in the next 2 weeks. That first 15 minutes makes a huge impact on them. And if you get their trust, you get their attention, you show them you're there for them. For the most part, they're not going anywhere. They're excited. They can't help but want to be part of the passion and the excitement and that exhilaration that you're exuding when you're with them. They cannot wait to follow you and to be part of the bigger picture. All that is packaged into your first 15. Not so hard. You got this, right? Now, you might go, okay, but you know what, Linda, I meet them at the front door or over at customer service, and then I just take them on a tour. All right, that works. As long as you're not putting them to work right away. And you're not saying, okay, this is a cosmetics section. I've already pulled the boxes from the back room. You just start unpacking that box. Oh my gosh. They're already lost. They're already like, are you kidding me? Really? Instead, it's sit down, have a glass of water. Or maybe during that store tour, you're asking them, so tell me a little bit about yourself. Why L&R? What brought you to us? What's their experience? Is this brand new to them or do they have some experience? All right, let's lean into that experience because now we get the opportunity to morph it into the L&R way, right? It's that conversation, communication, people centricity that you're going to be exhibiting in that first 15 minutes. You're going to be part of it. Okay, that, my friends, is the hook. Any questions about the hook or comments for that matter? Okay, let's go on. All right. So learning styles. Now, I'm guessing for the most part, you've all been doing a little bit of training already. All right. I see that I recognize some of the names. So I'm like, okay, some of these people I know are out there training. Um, Learning styles is important when it comes to training. It's important when it comes to leading as well. So when we talk learning styles, we talk about how does your trainee learn best? Now, sometimes you'll discover that right off the bat. Some of us will ask them, well, are you a hands-on learner? Are you a visual learner? How do you learn best? It will be up to you, though, to recognize in them, okay, they told me they're a hands-on learner, but I'm discovering as we're working together that they're actually more of an audible learner. They seem to be listening to me very intently and capturing that information. And then when they go to perform it, there's a little bit of a hiccup. So I think I better train or change the way I'm training them. I'm going to focus more on audible training. There are different learning styles. And ladies, they begin at the top here. We have trainees. We have people out there, I should say, who learn through trial and error. They want to try it themselves, right? They may not even need you to show it. They just want to try it. And you'll recognize that sometimes you're like, whoa, 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 let me show you. And they're like, oh, no, I think I got this. You're like, oh my goodness. Okay, there are those people out there, and that's all right. We just have to recognize it and adapt. So trial and error, try it for themselves. The other learning style is being told. They need direct instruction, oral or written. They need it black and white, but they want you to tell them. All right. They want everything verbal for the most part. Now, again, that can include written, but typically it's oral. The other learning style is imitation. That's copycat. You do it, then they do it. You do it, they do it. That's the imitation, copycat. And there's a lot of learners that way. And then there's thinking. Some people will go through the whole day and you're like, I don't think they got it. I thought they were off in la la land the whole time. And you call your DM and you're like, oh, this is not going to work. Well, instead, maybe they're thinkers. Maybe they took everything you were sharing, verbal, written, hands-on, however you were teaching them, and maybe they have to go home and just sit with it and process it and think about it. And then they'll come back the next day and they've got it. But they might be people who just absorb it all, retain it, but now they've got to go work with it in their own brain. So that's something else. That's another learning style that we need to recognize is out there. Okay? And that can be true whether it's a topic you're sharing with them, a how-to, meaning explanations, or maybe you're giving them a solution for something. If they look like they're like, ooh, I don't get it, it's okay. They might come back the next day strong. And that might just be their learning style. Now, we can even break it down further. There's actually 3 specific learning styles, as you ladies have probably heard. I mean, there's hands-on, there's audible, and there's visual, right? The 3 main learning styles. But those 3 break down even further into these learning styles that I just shared with you. Right? Some are easier to work with than others. And those, if you need help with learning additional different learning styles, how do I work with this learning style? Just let me know and we'll work on that together for you. That's just something that can be developed because some of these learning styles are hard, ladies. I've had those people out there over the years of training and I feel like they're in la la land and I'm sitting here trying to reel them back in and they're just out there. And the next day they come back strong. It's like, oh, I didn't even think they were getting any of it. I didn't think they were listening, but they were. All right. Any thoughts on these learning styles or questions about them? Have you
I
had
have a
a chance
question,
to
Linda.
work with them? Oh, sorry. Go right ahead.
I worked with, I had a new hire. I think you might even remember about a year ago, who had no experience. She knew how to answer a phone call or take a phone or take a phone call, answer a phone call or make a phone call, I should say. And she had absolutely no experience on a tablet, a computer, or anything, which was very challenging. I think you were involved with this, and we sent her everything, hands-on, audible, paper instructions, everything we could possibly do to get her through this. And it was very challenging for me, um, because I was like trying to get her through 3 different stages of how to learn, and it took quite some time. The training took more than we expected. I think I did like 3 days, and then I had to go back the following week. We can do another 3 days. Um, but my question to you is, how would someone get past if they had no experience, uh, and come in with, with absolutely no knowledge of anything technology wise? How does someone get past that? And how would I, if I've done everything I tried to do and it just didn't work, where would I go from there?
Well, the one thing we have to keep in mind, Elizabeth, is sometimes it isn't, it's not you, it's maybe chemistry. So the other thing that we do need to keep in mind is perhaps we try a different trainer with them, because we're all after teaching the same information, if you will, but our delivery mechanisms are different. So sometimes by just bringing in a fresh face, a fresh trainer, their delivery mechanism works better with that person and they make a connection. So that's one way. Another way is working with the leadership, your district manager, your regional manager, and we need to schedule additional training time. Okay. And that would be, maybe we are just focusing on the tablet. And I don't mean you have to physically go to the store with them. We can set up FaceTime phone calls by using Teams, and we could orchestrate 15 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour. I spend a lot of my week just doing one-on-ones with field merchandisers and their tablets. A lot, ladies, because they don't understand them. And so that might be another option that we go down. Another way is, we send them the different videos. When I say we, I'm encompassing your district manager as well, including them. So maybe we have to schedule them an hour of admin, admin time at home, so they can have time to play with it and not feel the stress of being in a store, but that they're just walking through it on their own. That's another option. Okay. And then an option that we never really want to entertain is the option that maybe they're just not going to get it. And so we have to walk through the disciplinary measures of, here's a verbal, you have 30 days and you need to be able to perform X, Y, and Z, and we can measure that. And then they either meet that goal, or they don't, and we have to part ways. So we do have options. We have opportunities. We can think out of the box. We are all capable of thinking out of the box. Sometimes it's, a master of the minds, where we need to pull together a group of people to say, how can we come beside this person and develop them, because they're not getting it? Are they someone who, if we work and we invest enough, that they are going to get to the other side of the river? I don't know. So those are other additional conversations we need to have, and other options that we can always pursue. Did that answer your question, Elizabeth, or was that too vague?
Nope, you answered my question. Thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome. All right, Jamie, I see you're typing. I've got my chat open now, just FYI, because I lost the fact that Jamie was using the chat. Okay, so if there aren't any other comments or questions there, which that was wonderful. Thank you, Elizabeth. Let's go ahead and we're going to move on. And let's just take a quick look at on-the-job training. All right, OJT. So you ladies, you're already out there training. You meet your individuals, you take them through your own process and so on. This is more just, it's kind of just a bubble page to help keep you on track, especially if you're new to this as you work with your trainees. The diagram begins on the left side in that first bottom cloud where it says attributes of great on-the-job training begins with chat with the trainee to calm their anxiety. I believe I already mentioned you might have someone who's worked in the industry 35 some years. Okay. And they were an expert wherever they were, but now they're brand new to L&R. They're anxious. They're not necessarily anxious about their ability. They're just anxious. It's a new company. It's the first day on the job. Oh, I'm going to be working with new product, new people. They have a new way of getting the end result accomplished. So we want to calm them. And then you continue to work up through this diagram and we get up to the top and it's start with explaining the task. That's telling your new hire before you start what, where, when, why, how. What's the training program? What are we going to cover? How many days do I think that this is going to take? What has been delegated to us? Who are the clients I'm working with? What are the sets and the product I'm going to handle? Okay, that's information you can share with them in that first 15 to 30 minutes. And you can let them know, here's what our schedule's probably going to look like. And we'll then at the end, we'll assess, we'll see where we're at. And we may need to capture some additional time in the next 2 weeks, or maybe I'll let you go at it for a week on your own, and then I'll revisit with you. You'll have that conversation with them. All right. You're going to be demonstrating slowly and explaining. You might even need to recognize that the jargon that you use, it may need to simplify. Maybe you're like me and you fall into the trap of SFM and DM and RM and POG, and we use acronyms and abbreviations that our new hires are going, what in the world are you talking about? Right? As trainers, we always have to say the full-blown words because they don't know our language yet. They will, but they don't yet. So you'll introduce that to them. Then you continue around. Now, maybe you're going to start working with your sets. So you're going to learn, okay, what's their learning style? Maybe you're going to do the copycat method and you start working with product, right? You're going to let them practice. Make sure that before they move on from you, you have witnessed their performance in full-fledged. They've been writing orders. They're taking pictures, they're tagging appropriately, they're leaving professional notes and appropriate notes and comments, right? You don't want to dismiss anyone and let them go and hand them over to their stores when you're going, oh my gosh, this is going to be a wreck. They're using language they shouldn't be using. They aren't facing the product. That's your role. So before you let them go, you want to be praising them, but you also want to correct mistakes. And I know as trainers, that's kind of the ugly part of our job, right? No one really wants to address the ugliness, that hard stuff where we have to correct mistakes. But if we do it on the spot during training, you're not permitting them to develop a bad habit that then flourishes when they're out there on their own. And now 3 months down the road, your DM's calling you going, what in the world happened? Have you seen the pictures for this person? What happened during training? Were they doing it right? And you're like, yikes. Guess I should have confirmed everything was covered. And we'll talk about that when we get to the checklist as well. All right. Again, you finish and complete all the training, encouraging them, giving them words of wisdom at the end of the day, pats on the back, telling them about the next training day. And at the very end of all of your training, we always want to celebrate the wins and congratulate the success story. That's so important, that big hurrah at the very end. You guys, you got this. These are your stores. You own them. I know you have it. I'm here if you need me. You've got my number. I'll be watching you on the back office of Repsley, but you can do this. And you do a celebratory dance. Right? So you can read through this in detail on your own, but These are just the specific attributes of a successful on-the-job training experience. One thing I do want to highlight and call out is please be very specific on what are your what are your expectations and what are the non-negotiables. Okay, be very clear. Remind them that the details matter. We don't take shortcuts. All right. So, and please enfold that into your training. All right. So at this point, ladies, let me just ask you, how can you apply your learnings, things that we've talked about today? How can you apply these things to your training, to your leadership, when you go back out into the field later today or tomorrow? Anything up to this point, can you apply in what it is you do?
Yeah, so I'm training now, and
Oh, good.
I have just learned so much that I can use. Being out there, I see a lot that comes to mind on all of these points that we just don't think about. So this training has been very helpful to me. I'm excited to take some of these points out there. And I know you said you're going to send us an attachment, so that's going to be wonderful because I'm going to use it. And I'm going to go over it and make sure I touch base on every one of those points, because I feel it's important that they feel like they're part of the we. I love the we because when you use we, that involves them to help with the training and make decisions and be part of it. And I think that's what they want to feel, because I know that's what I wanted to feel when I was out there learning. I wanted to hear we. I want to hear, well, Eleanor or I wanted to hear we. So I think that's very important to the very first day, make them feel part of the process of being with Eleanor and being an employee of Eleanor. And that makes, I think it, would make me feel very excited and happy to be there. So I'm hoping that would be something that everybody could use as the we.
I like that. Thank you for pulling that out, Pam, and sharing. Yeah, we, as I mentioned, the we is important. I mean, we are here for the bigger picture to, for a company called L&R. And yes, most field merchandisers work remote. I mean, that's why some people absolutely love this kind of a career, because they don't have their boss breathing right over their shoulder. And we don't, for the most part, we're not stuck behind a desk, right? So we get to go from place to place and have some freedom there in our schedules. On the other hand, I don't want to work in a silo by myself all the time. Sometimes I got to tell you, ladies, sometimes I feel that way. It's like, hello, I know you're all back in New York, but I'm out here. I'm here. It's knowing they are part of the we, that bigger picture. They are part of the success. As I tell the new hires, you're the ambassadors. You're the eyes and ears. You are this company because you're the face. You are it. You're the person that your customer will see. Good, bad, ugly, they're coming to you. So therefore, they're part of the we. That field merchandiser needs to know they're not in a silo. They are part of L&R and that bigger picture. I like how you stated that, Pam. Thank you so much. Anyone else?
Well, I think taking the time to work with the team better and to be a better we is extremely important. I also think that empowering them to use their verbiage a little better to communicate with us, so that they're not afraid of us and they can make that phone call and not be worried that if they call us that they're going to get beat down, that we're going to have something that we can help them with And if not by phone, then by making an appointment with them at their next store to suit up and show up and give them the confidence that they need to do what they're doing.
Right. Right. I like that. Suit up and show up. Yes. And there are ways that you can do that. I mean, sometimes you can't get to them, can you? Like maybe they're 5 hours away from you. But ladies, remember, through Teams, you can send them an invite and you can do a one-on-one FaceTime just like we're doing today. If you can't physically get to them, nowadays with technology, we can do FaceTime calls. Right now, if a person's in California, don't call them. Okay, we have to just work with the tablet. We can't use the phone. But there are ways that you can make those connections, just as Juanita was saying. Suit up, show up. I love that. Yes. Anything else? Okay, well, let's go on here. We are going to take a look at your trainer's checklist. So have any of you had a chance to work with the LNR trainer's checklist?
Yes.
A few of you have. Okay. Okay. All right. Let me just give you a brief description of them because these are going to be coming your way. So we were having a problem, we meaning the merchandising division with LNR. We were having a problem with inconsistencies. And the feedback coming back through WorkStep, the survey system, was that, oh, my trainer didn't train me. And I didn't learn that during training, or I never knew that. I was never taught that. And we did have some inconsistencies along with, yes, we did train that to you. You just didn't capture it or whatever. So in understanding this and knowing we needed to do better, 3 different checklists were designed with some of your peers. So some of your peers worked with myself as well as a DM, and we designed the 3 checklists that you're going to be using, whether you're on the West Coast, Central, or East Coast. When you are assigned a new hire, I will send out all 3 training checklists to you on Monday of the new hire's first week. All right, so the day before their new hire orientation. These 3 checklists are broken down into the basic trainer's checklist, the intermediate, and the advanced. The goal is that you will complete all 3 training checklists with your new hire within the first 30 days. Now, you're probably going, well, gosh, can't I do that in the first week or 2 weeks? Sure, you could. But we have some people who are quite remote. And so our trainers can only go once a week or once every other week to get to them. So the mission is within the first 30 days, all 3 are complete. Now, how this works is the basic is just that. What are the basic fundamentals we need our trainers with LNR to train all, to train all new hires with? So some of the basics would be, we need you to train them. Well, what's the product they're going to handle? Who are their retail accounts? You're going to help ensure their tablet is set up, that they have all the tools they need, So some of the basic fundamentals. So the basic trainer's checklist outlines those. The reason we send it to you is you're going to be able to open it on your tablet when you're with your new hire, and you will take them through each line item on that trainer's checklist. And then once you've completed the basic checklist, you will have a line on there where you will need to sign. The date will automatically load. And once you sign and submit it, that checklist goes to your new hire. All right. When your new hire gets it, they can read your comments. They can see what you've trained them on. They can add their own if they want, and then they will sign it. Once they sign it, it goes to the district manager. Now the district manager gets to see, okay, great. Linda completed this person's basic training. Here were some concerns. Here's some thoughts from the new hire, whatever's posted on it. The district manager then has the opportunity to keep a copy, and they too have to sign it. And then it comes to me and then I put it in the employee file. And we do that for all 3 trainers' checklists. The intermediate, well, you can gather what that is. It just gets more in depth into the tasks, into the functionalities that you need to train your new hire on. And then the advanced, well, that's when we might cover like, how do you do a credit return? All right. Some of those bigger blue sky things that we don't necessarily need to know, but they're going to want to know down the road at some point. Those are the things that are built into the advanced trainers checklist. Right. So all 3 checklists will get sent to you on Monday of the day the new hire begins. And you'll start with the basic. And as you work through it, you're going to see that the basic trainers checklist, the first page is the one that you'll complete. So it has each category and you'll check mark off, yes, I trained this. Yes, they had this. You'll have an opportunity to add comments, and then you'll sign, you'll digitally sign in your name. And then, like I said, then it will go on to the new hire, right? The pages that will follow the signature page, that's where we get into the meat and potatoes for each checklist. I mean, it's broken down. The SFMs who worked with me, they really dissected and broke it down. They took these trainers' checklists into the field with new hires and they worked with them. And then they came back to me and we reformed and reshaped and modified. So they were used before they went into full-blown effect. Okay. So that's going to be your responsibility, training with individuals. And Pam, I think I sent you checklists not too long ago.
Yeah, I have all 3 of them.
Okay, excellent. Good. Now, here's one thing I want you to know. If you get a new hire who doesn't show, right? You go to the store on the first day, they're a no-show and they're not moving forward with us. Shoot me an email. Because otherwise, these training checklists, you're going to get reminders every week that you need to complete them. So if that person, that new hire is not with us anymore, shoot me an email and I will stop those checklists from coming to you every week. Okay. If you get through the basic and then the person quits, let me know and I'll cancel the intermediate and the advanced. Because otherwise you're going to get reminders once a week. All right. Questions for me about the checklist? No? You can complete them, ladies, on your tablets. All right, so you don't have to worry about go home and get on a computer. You can pull them up here. The first day you're with your new hire, you can show them, hey, here's the basic checklist I'm going to work with you on. We're going to work through all of these action items. And then you move to the intermediate. Here's what we're going to work through. Okay. So that way we have consistency across the board. We know all of our new hire merchandisers are getting the same information. And then built into these checklists, you have a space where you're able to train them on retail specific items. And by that, I mean, if you're working in a Kroger retail account, you have to sign in on the Global Works tablet and then sign out. That would be something unique. You know, Kroger retail account is a green light account. They don't have to check it in and pay for it. It's ready to roll more or less. If you're in an Albertsons, you get paid invoices. They need to know how to read and make sure that product's been paid for. So you'll have opportunity to train on retail specific tasks, and then you'll have those generic tasks that LNR needs you to cover. And that's all built into the checklist. All right. Now, Jamie's typing over here. And Jamie, I don't want to ignore what you've put in here. And then we're going to move on from the checklist. Let me see what you've shared. Jamie shared, she says, in her past on the 30 years in management, all people train differently. That is correct. Ones with no experience, I start very simple. I would start out in field just to shadow them, basic stocking, reading UPCs, etc. Once that's done, I go from there to the next. Sometimes people get overwhelmed because it is a lot to learn all at once. But I find breaking it up on what they need to learn each day or week helps. And that's what that checklist is going to do for you. Just as an example, I've had great success doing this. I also remind them that they will learn or be taught something every day, and there is no way we can do all at once, and it is okay, and everything is flexible. How true is that? We have to be flexible, don't we? So true. And then whatever we teach today, tomorrow we teach something new, but then we revisit the prior day, right? We're always revisiting to ensure the retention is there. And then Jamie also add, I would let everyone know there is no stupid question to ask. Yes, isn't that true, right? Some people are always worried about asking question. Of course, now that I've gotten to the age that I am, I just ask or interrupt or say what I feel I need to. But I know as we're all learning in new jobs, we don't feel that we have that liberty. So that's great, Jamie, that you shared that. Thank you. All right, checklist. Everyone's good there, correct? Because you are going to be using these. All righty.
Linda,
Yes.
Linda,
Yes.
I don't have the checklist.
You
I
what?
don't have the checklist. I don't have the checklist.
Oh, do you have a new hire?
No. Oh, you would send that when the new hire comes out?
Yes. Yes. Now, if you want to just have a visual, I can send it out to you as well. That's not a problem. I'll just send a blank copy. But
Okay.
the ones for your new hires, I send those on Monday of the new hires' first week on the job.
Okay.
All right. But if you want a blank, let me know and I can send it so you can look it over if you'd like. That's fine.
I would like that.
Sure.
Thank you.
Write myself a note here so I don't forget. Send blank checklist. Okay, terrific. All right, moving on, ladies. We're going to talk Power BI, Field Planning Tool, authentication. Okay. How familiar are all of you with Power BI, Field Planning Tool, authentication? Where are we at in this? Can you all kind of share where you feel you're at? Do you feel like you're a pro? Do you feel like you're struggling? Where are you at with it?
I feel like I know it pretty well.
Okay, that was Elizabeth. All right. Anyone else?
I think I know it pretty well.
Okay.
It's glitchy. I know it.
It's what? You cut out on me, Pam. What was that?
It's glitchy a lot, you know?
Oh,
Yeah,
it is. It's being a little stubborn right now for people, for sure.
it is.
Yes. Yes. Anyone else? How's everybody else doing? Juanita, how do you feel about it? Oh, Juanita might be frozen on my screen. Holly, how are you feeling with it?
I'm definitely not intermediate. I can do the things that are required of me for my job. The basics, I'm in the late list, ship, excuse me.
Yeah.
The ship reports, looking up different stores. I need to, which Richard mentioned in a senior meeting last week, but Nicolette has always said this to me as well, to take some admin time and go into it and learn and research different items. Like you mentioned, the metrics, is that the word you use? Yes,
I probably
metrics
do. Mm-hmm.
and KPIs. We were encouraged by Jacqueline to go in there and read those, and it'll help you understand about the call cycle changes and such. So I need to take that upon myself and do that.
Okay. Okay, good. And I would recommend that. That would be excellent.
Right.
And great development, you know? So definitely when you can carve out that time, I would do it for sure. All right. And then let's see. Selena, how are you feeling with the tools?
I'm probably exactly what Holly said. I need to take some time, carve out some time, which I never seem to have, to just float around in there and kind of get to know some different sections. I'm good with the ship report and store grids. I can't remember how to do split screen, but I do have an email on that. I just haven't taken the time to try it.
Okay. All right. You're going to want to do that, by the way, because that's a saving grace. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to talk about that here in a few minutes. And Jamie, I'm guessing you're pretty confident with it. How are you feeling?
I'm getting it.
You get it? Is that what you said, dear?
Yeah, because I used it. Yeah, I used it daily as a DM.
Okay. I feel
Yeah,
like you
and
did.
it's store grids and all that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Terrific. Okay. Just wanted to check. And Juanita, I'm just asking, how's everybody feeling with the Power BI Authenticator field planning tool? How do you feel there?
I have to authenticate every week, so and I know how to load it, and I
Okay.
use the store grid and all that stuff daily.
Excellent. Okay. So this group is actually heads and tails ahead of my last group. I have to tell you guys, many of them they're like, I have to help people set up the authenticator and I don't have a clue. I don't know what I'm doing. So this group is ahead of the game. So yay, you guys. Way to go, ladies. All right, let's just talk through a couple things. So first off, Power BI, I'm hoping you all recognize, stands for Power Business Intelligence. And that is the application that we use here with L&R, as do many companies, primarily because it's an application that allows hundreds of people to look at data at the same time and not mess with it. They can't skew it, but they can look at it for the most part at the same time in living fashion. All right, so Power BI has really become an application that many companies, are embracing and bringing live with their company. With L&R for the merchandising division, PBI is where we decided to drop your new scheduling tool, the field planning tool, the FPT. Okay. It is critical in your role that you understand the ins and outs of the field planning tool. So I think it's wonderful because generally the first step is acknowledging I'm about at this level and I need to be at this level. And it's figuring it out. Okay, how do I get there? It sounds like maybe you've been equipped. I know Jacqueline's a good resource for the merchandising division. She can assist, your DMs can assist, I can assist. So you have tools out here, but really in all honesty with the field planning tool, it comes down to you spending time with it. It really does. Holly, I believe you said that a few minutes ago. It's setting aside a little bit of admin time. Maybe it's even just 15 minutes a week, but it's setting aside some time and playing with it. And that is how we become experts with it. All right. The authenticator is your security system. All right. You nowadays are carrying around, and I don't mean you specifically, merchandisers are now carrying around this new field planning tool on their tablets. They're out in the general public, and there's a lot of valuable information. So we now have all merchandise employees installing the authenticator. In your role, you're going to be working with new hires and setting these up on a fairly regular basis, right? Most of you, your first time you meet with them, they're like, Linda mentioned, or I've got this authenticator thing and I don't know what I'm supposed to do with it. Or I tried it once, I couldn't get it. Here, can you do this? And they turn it all over to you. So not only should you have the user login memorized, or at least have it in your notebook, but also the temporary password. So I want to ask you, do you have that in your trainer's manual that you use, or in your records, whatever you refer to? Do you each have that? You can go yes or no. If you need it, I'll give it to you right now.
No, I don't.
Okay, so let's write this down, because by law, from IT with L&R, we are not permitted to put it into writing. So it's real important that every trainer has it in your hip pocket. The user login for Power BI to set up the authenticator, but for Power BI, it's all lowercase letters. And it begins with rep, R-E-P as in Paul. R as in Richard, E as in elephant, P as in Paul. Then there's a dash, just like you'd put in a telephone number. And next, it's a lowercase letter because now they're entering their LRID number. We're currently on the letter J. So the new hires right now are entering Rep-J and then 3 numbers. So it's a letter and 3 numbers, which is their LRID. Does that make sense, ladies?
Yes.
No? Okay.
Yes,
So we have,
yes.
thank you. So we
Yeah.
have so we have Rep-LRID number, and their letter is lowercase, and then the symbol for @ and then you're going to put L, R, D for David, I, S for Sue, and T for Tom, .com. All right. This is, okay, I'm going to go through it one more time for you. So it's all lowercase, and it's REP, P for Paul, dash, currently the letter J, and then 3 numbers. But once we're going to move into K in a little while for the LRID number. And then it's the symbol for @ the curly QA, LRDIST, dist.com. Okay, thumbs up. Everybody have it? Yes. Okay, if you don't, just go off mute and let me know, please. All right, so that is the user rep login for Power BI. And again, the ID number section will change once we jump into K with HR. You know, we use up the J's, we jump to K, then we use those up, jump to L. So you'll have to know you'll have to be paying attention to their LRID number when you go to assist somebody. All right, so now for the temporary password. It's going to start with capital letters, and it's a capital L, then the ampersand symbol. So the symbol for the word and, it's on your keypad above the number 7. So it's L and symbol, then a capital R, then a lowercase P as in Paul, M as in Mike, E for elephant, T for Tom, 0, and then the number 1. So 0, 1. And in your notes, ladies, I'd recommend writing that it's not the letter O, it is a number 0. So we have capital L and R, lowercase p, m, e, t, 0, 1. Does everyone have this? Okay,
Linda,
terrific.
what's this?
Yeah.
What is it? L and the N symbol?
Yes, it's the symbol for the word and. It's called an ampersand symbol.
Right.
So it's a capital L, then the symbol.
Okay.
And then a capital R. Okay. All right. So ladies, when you go to assist your new hires in setting up their authenticator, they're not using their personal, right? We have all got that. They're using this new user login. They just have to enter their personal LRID number that was assigned. And then they're going to use the temporary password. Then you're going to take them through the authentication. Once they are successful in setting up their authentication, keep going, keep clicking next, or I got it. It has a few different, instructional tidbits in that blue rectangle. Keep going to the point where they have to create their own personal email, their own personal password for the Power BI. They'll always use the user login that we just went through because it's personalized with their own LRID number, but then they will create a brand new password with you once they've set up the authenticator. Did I lose anyone with that? Okay. I always tell your new hires to please only attempt to set up their authenticator 2 times. And if they don't get it, stop and wait till they're with you. Because if they try it 3 times and they're unsuccessful, they get locked out. And then I have to go to IT to get them unlocked. And that is a nightmare. Okay. Okay. So then my next piece I want to share with you is the split screen. Ladies, if you don't use the split screen when you set up their authenticator, you're just making your job more difficult. All right, go into split screen. Now, I can load my tablet if that would help you have a visual, but I also will send you the instructions, which some of you have. What you're going to have them do is you're going to have them hit the task view, the 3 vertical lines at the bottom of their screen, and you're going to have them close any open apps on their tablets because you're going to start fresh when you meet them. And from there, they're going to open Power BI. Then they're going to go back to their home screen. They're going to open their authenticator. Okay. And then after they open their authenticator, you're going to tap on the little gold bars of the Power BI and select a split screen view. Do you want me to show you a couple of those steps, or do you want to just work through it on your own? And then if you need help, contact me.
Linda?
Yes.
Are you going to email us the split screen option instructions here?
I sure am. Yes.
That's all I personally need, but if anybody else
Okay.
needs anything else, just let's
Okay.
go on with it. I have no problem
Okay.
with that. I just like to have that visual.
Yes.
Thank you
Yep.
for that.
I'm gonna send it to you, and it has some additional words to help coach you through it. The reason
Also,
I have
I
you
would like.
go
I'm
ahead,
sorry,
Elizabeth.
Linda. Also, I would like to have one also visual.
Yes, you want me to show you?
No. Just if you could send it in an email.
Oh, yes, I'm going to send it to all of you on the call today, and then it'll be up to you
Thank
if you
you.
want to use it or not. You're welcome.
Okay.
Yes. So the reason I have them open Power BI first is because it's going to put Power BI on the top of the screen. And then they open Authenticator, which will then put it on the bottom half when you have them go into split screen. Power BI is where you're going to do most of the work, as you know, in setting that authenticator up. So it needs to be on the top because the 2 numbers are going to show on the top. And then boom, the sign in box is on the bottom. It pops up, says sign in. They enter the 2 numbers, select done. And then they just keep punching the buttons and so they can create a new password. Go into split screen. It is incredible. I use it every time with my new hires when they call me and schedule time. All right. And I probably do, I'd say at least 2 a day. Split screen. Then they create their own password and then you can exit. They can close everything down and then just take them back in through Power BI to show them the field planning tool. Right? Best way to take them through the steps. Questions for me before we go over to the field planning tool? Everyone feeling good? Let me go to my chat, Jamie. Sorry. I wrote everything you just said and I have it. Okay. All right. Jamie, go ahead. Your hand's up.
Yeah. Just back to the authenticator because
Sure.
now just hear me. I have mine on my phone, I mean, I do it because it's more convenient instead of. I'm not saying the split screen is a bad idea, but will reps be able to do that? I mean, I know I have an LNR email. I didn't know. Can they do the same thing if they
No,
choose? Can
no,
they put
and we
the
don't.
applicator on their phone? That's
No,
fine. If you can,
yeah, Jamie, they
if it's
can't.
not posted, that's fine. That's
Yeah,
perfect. That's
so
what I wanted to make sure.
excellent. No, with your field merchandisers, it's a one step, and it has to be with the
That's
tablet
fine.
only. Yes,
Yeah.
please. Yes, with
Thank
with
you. That's what
management.
I want to make sure.
Okay, yep, you're right. With management, they want us doing a two-step, so it's with our phone and our tablet. But we have, like, for instance, we have California out there where we are not permitted to use a phone with those people, with those field merchandisers. All right, at all. It's a state law. Now,
Got it.
LNR by the end of this month, we actually have solved that problem for us, and I can't elaborate on that at this point. That'll be coming out and shared with those who work with reps and work in California. So therefore, anyhow, everything was set up as a one-step process. So it's just the tablet. Please don't get their phones out. We do not want reps using personal equipment, which includes the phone, for anything unless it's a last resort, like an emergency phone call. We want them to be using supplied LNR equipment, right? We don't want them to accrue any cost or any damage, anything. We just don't want them to have to use their own equipment. So it's a one-step process. And thank you for reminding me to mention that, Jamie. It's only on the tablet, just like Repsly should only be loaded on the tablet.
Right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Okay, so that is the authenticator. Split screen, set up the authenticator, and now they're off and running and ready to be introduced to the field planning tool. All right. The field planning tool, when it comes to this, you guys, they have a tutorial. They're given from me a link to watch a training tutorial. And that's part of their first week on the job. They're required to watch a field planning tool training session so that when they get to you, they're not ignorant on what is this field planning tool. So if they're coming to you and they haven't watched it, you need to send them home and tell them that's part of the requirement. They have the link. They've been told to watch. Okay, and they can watch it as many times as they need to, but it's a great visual and audible piece for them before they get to you to have a general idea of, oh, okay, this is what this field planning tool scheduling book is all about. Here's what I'm going to have access to. If I'm a reset merchandiser, I still need to use it because I need to access the planograms. Or I can see when all my reset product is arriving at the stores that I'm resetting or remodeling, because we have several reset and remodel merchandisers out there. So it's a very helpful tool to get them started. And then that way, when they get to you, they've heard some of the language, they have a visual in their head. Now it's a matter of using it. Okay, so that has already been made accessible to them. All right. Any questions for me about the field planning tool? Anything that we need to talk about there? It sounds to me like a few of you just need to spend some more time with it. Okay. Try your drill throughs, open up your planograms, look at expected orders, open the filter panel on the side and change out. I'm going to look for regional, or I'm going to plunk in my DM and the store number. What pops up for me? Pick a sales rep. What do you get to see? What does the order look like? When did they write the order? When did the order come in? Oh, it says delivered. It's delivered. I can go. Well, no. Does it say received? Received means it's been paid for. Okay. So really dig into your field planning tool, because ladies, you're responsible to teach it. And you can only teach what you know. All right. So work with it, play with it, schedule it just like you would when you schedule a store on your calendar. Build in 15 minutes here and there and just get on it and play with it. Okay? Because we can only teach what we know. All right. That's my little sermon on the field planning tool. Okay, as we move through this, some of the attachments that I'm going to be sending to you. So if you want to contact me after the fact so we can work through them one-on-one, I'm more than happy to do that. Repsly. You should all have access to Repsly Back Office. And Repsly Back Office is basically, for the most part, you could be at home, you bring up Repsly on your laptop or your home computer, and that's where you can see all of your team's pictures and orders, forms, notes, etc. You can see their schedule if they're using the scheduling tool. There's different reports that we can print out. You can look at audits. All of that is visible in Back Office Repsly. And I confirmed with Mike Wilchin that yes, our SFMs should have access to Back Office. Now, what your DM will ask you to do within that, now that could be flexible. That could change from DM to DM based on needs. All right. And the other thing I want to call out for you, if you're somebody who's going, okay, Linda, I've heard of Repsly Back Office. I haven't necessarily gone in there. Because you have this fabulous field planning tool, you now have visibility to pictures and forms and orders because of it. All right. So don't feel like you're getting gypped and you can't see these things, because we have, the history there for every store, and you can go in and you have that visibility. The Back Office Repsly just allows you to see a little bit more. But you should be commenting on pictures, maybe sending a positive, encouraging note here or there. Ask your DM, how would you like me to use it? I'd like to take on more. What can I do with that office? What should I be commenting on or looking for? It's a valuable training tool for you. Okay, we also have videos that have been posted out there on the management YouTube channel, which if you don't have access to that, let me know and I'll send that out as well. It has all of the training courses shared with leadership. They are recordings of effective management, effective leadership, organizational management, communication, lots of different trainings that I take leaders through. So those are out there on the YouTube channel, and you're more than welcome to begin participating in those. The time and mileage guide will be an attachment I'll send to you. Excuse me. Please be familiar with it. If any of you have to travel, spend the night in a hotel somewhere, or you're going to have team members doing this, they need to complete the time and mileage report for Cindy. So please be familiar with it if you're not already. I'll send you the how to complete an audit. You're going to be working with audits. You'll go into stores, you'll check the back rooms, you'll check the floor. You're going to be working through an audit form if you've not already. Right? You'll want to become familiar with that form and the expectations around it. And I'll send you an attachment about it. I'll send you an attachment on steps to determine UPS deliveries. This is another tool inside the field planning tool. So you can go in and you can determine whether UPS is actually delivered. All right, and that's just the drill through that you see. And then the Microsoft Outlook. So you're going to be emailing, if you're not already, a lot. So some of the basic fundamentals are, how do you set up folders within Outlook? Right? How do you flag certain emails so that you don't lose them? How do you drag and click, or click and drag certain emails into those folders you created? How do you make certain folders your favorites so they're up at the top? Now, you can go out and do some research on the Microsoft application. It's all out there. There's all kinds of little short videos and whatnot. But we also have some information that I'll share with you that may help you get going if, in fact, you're not utilizing your Outlook to the fullest capability that you should be. Okay, so if there's some learnings there for you as well. So those are attachments that I'm going to send to you. This is just a little visibility I'll include in the deck about the Repsley back office, as well as this particular page highlights menu on your tablet. Ladies, please remember to remind your new hires that they have all kinds of troubleshooting documents available to them on their tablet from the activities page in menu under files and tips and tricks. But really, files has a lot of great stuff. That's what, and I maintain it, I update it. Michael send me things and ask me, hey, Linda, get this up there. So I'm constantly modifying what's available under menu files. So please make sure your new hires know how to access it. All right. So again, this is just on Repsley back office. Things that you would be looking at would be pictures, forms, orders, reports, service calls, schedules. You would want to schedule time with your district manager for training and further understanding under what would be their expectations of you in using the back office. What data should you be reviewing? How often should you be in back office? And what action should you be taking? Okay, I could share with you what I would recommend, but every DM is a little different and their expectations will be different. So that's a question I would ask you to pose to them. Okay. Scheduling. I'll send you this as well. Best practices. Scheduling is really, for the most part, being used out here on the West Coast. Not necessarily are the Central and the East Coast up and running with it all full blown like the West Coast. Pros and cons, all right? But scheduling is a really nice feature. I have a video on it that I've attached the link to. And scheduling allows us to go in and see where people are going to be, what's their plan for work, do they have all the stores that are assigned to them pre-organized in their schedule? It gives us more visibility to their world within their stores. So if you're not using scheduling, ladies, I would recommend you participate just so that you have the experience with it in case one of your new hires would like to use it. Right, especially those of you in the Central and the East. So anyhow, I've included some directional pages for you if you're someone who wants to use it. Tablet updates. Oh my goodness, these are other phone calls I receive on a regular weekly basis. Linda, my tablet's not working. All of a sudden I can't finish my order. My scanner is not working, or my tablet froze. Very, very first thing I always ask them is, do you have any pending updates? And they go into the main settings page on their home screen and they check there. Nope. We need them to go way deeper. They need to go to Verizon MDM, run the configuration. Exit. They need to go into Play Store app, follow my directions, which I'm sending to each of you. They'll click on the large right circle or gray circle. They'll click on Manage Apps and Device, and they'll run all updates available. After they do that, they'll hit the task view, close everything, and then they'll turn off the tablet, turn it back on, and voila, we're up and running. Okay. If you don't know how to run this major update, please follow my instructions. You can run it on your tablet today if you need to. We don't just go into the settings on home screen and run that little update. Okay. It's much more intense. So you do need to be aware of this, and I'd recommend running it a couple of times yourself so that you know how to do it. Okay, any questions for me so far, ladies?
Linda, I have a question.
Sure, go for it.
How often do you suggest to do that Verizon update? Because I just did one like a month ago, but do you suggest that we do it? How often?
Okay, so I'll tell you what. I recommend one time a month. Repsley does these updates, oh gosh, I don't know, We get a couple of major ones a week. But I find that if you run this type of an update once a month, tablets aren't freezing. We're not running into as many problems. So I do it. I run it on mine. I do it at least once a month. In fact, I got in yesterday and I had 8 updates, and I run mine pretty often. I had 8. I ran all 8. This morning, in getting ready for you ladies, I had 3 already pop up. So I recommend at least once a month. That will prevent you from freezing, but you can do it as many times as you want. I mean, you could do it once a week if you wanted to. Now, the other saving grace is recommend everyone always sync. So they end their day, they run a quick sync on their tablet, right? That's also sending information to the departments that need it, and it's getting the momentum moving. It's moving that data to the places where we need it to go. So end the day sync. I probably sync my tablet, I don't know, 6 times a day. I'm always running syncs, and I don't use my tablet near as much as you guys. But I get on and I sync away, just, quick swipe. I don't know, maybe it's a 1-second sync. Great, okay. And then I run a major update about once a month. All right, if that helps. And all of you should, and so should your team. Okay, any other questions on that? Okay. Time and mileage guide, as I mentioned, I'm going to send this to you, so we don't need to talk it through. I think you've probably heard of it before. I just wanted to make sure you have all the instructions, so that's going to be an attachment. You're going to be conducting audits. Maybe you've done some already, but that's where you go out into the field. You're assigned some stores from your DM, or they may say, hey, can you just take the whole territory and just slowly work through the whole thing, conducting some audits in the stores. Great way to get to meet those store management teams, introduce yourself, leave your business cards, and it's a great way to touch base with your team. You can go into the schedule, see that they're going to be there, and schedule an audit. Now you get to be with the rep, spend a little quality time, and take care of business. All right, so the instructions are here, and then of course the link, you would need to copy and paste that into your own browser. All right, because none of these are an active link that I have pasted. Right. Any questions on the audits? Right. Wonderful way to keep an eye on your business, and you guys are overseeing the operation, so take it seriously, please. All right, UPS deliveries. Again, many of our L&R retail accounts deal with inclement weather, partial deliveries, delayed deliveries. It's nice to know that we can go into the field planning tool and click on the, just a couple of different links, and we can see where UPS is at. So these instructions will help you with that. I've also posted them out there on menu under files. So quite a bit of this is there, including your split screen instructions. A lot of it I've already posted for you on the tablet. Ladies, here are some links for you to get you started with your Outlook for your email. Right? So you can copy these links. You can watch the YouTube videos. I've started you off with 3 of them. So one of them is talking about folders, the calendar, tasks, etc. Another one is, how do you create your signature for your emails? I don't know if you know how to do that. So I've given you that one. And then what's the other one? Oh, it was more or less a tutorial about the design of the Outlook and using it for beginners. So I think all 3 of those would be helpful for you if you're unfamiliar with your inbox. All right, and what to do with that email. Okay, any questions for me at this point? Okay. Now, I don't ever walk you through all this. I just want you to be aware that I'm giving it to you. and we're going to wrap this session up today. The last several pages, and I do say several, there's probably, I don't know, 45, 50 pages in it. I am going to share with you what your new hires get from me on Tuesdays in their new hire orientation and training. So if you've not participated in that class in a while, the information in these next several pages is exactly what I teach them. So it's the welcome, it's taking them through all the orientation, it's dress code, it's payroll, it's benefits, it's the org chart, vision, mission. Then I transition them into merchandising, where we talk about the field planning tool, authentication. We look at the LNR INET and the supply order form and the time and mileage reports. So I have given you all of those pages in this deck. So if it's been a while or you're not quite sure what they're getting, please go into my attachments that I'm sending to you and read through this material so that you're in the know. All right, because again, I've included all of it here for you. And then the very last session, and again, if you're not up to speed on the dress code because you're trained in the dress code, please be sure you read through it. I don't know if you're aware, it was modified in June of last year. So we do have modifications to the dress code. All right. Tools they need, payroll, etc. Let me just cruise over here. Actually, let me lose. The new hire checklist is included. If you've not looked through our new hire checklist in a while, again, you're taking over from me. So you're going to want to know what is it they were supposed to complete in their first week. The Reliant state mandated videos. There are 2 of them, ladies. If they don't get them completed, we will deactivate their tablet at some point. They are mandated. So some conversations you can have with them if you're calling them in that first week is, hey, did you get your Reliant 2 videos done yet? If not, please make sure you have it done by whatever date they're meeting you. And they hear that from me initially. So they have to work through this new hire checklist the first week. It's meant to be completed before they start in the field. Okay, a little bit more information on Reliant. We talk about benefits. Of course, we also have the benefits recorded video out there on YouTube that they can watch. And that's one that I personally recorded with Lakeisha, and she and I did a whole benefits class, the 2 of us, so I could fake ask all these different questions. So it's pretty helpful. Yeah, it worked out pretty well. They have to read the safety guidelines on ADP. They also have to they're required to read the merchandise safety guide, the 101. So they should be coming to you pretty well informed. And it's more or less just learning, what they have to know when they're in the store itself. All right. So ladies, this is what you're going to find in the next several pages. All of the information your new hire is getting, excuse me, from me that first day on the job, which is basically Tuesday, right? They go through all of Repsley, and then they get some troubleshooting at the very end. Okay. So ladies, we've covered a lot of information. I'm afraid I've taken you 10 minutes past, so I am going to have to give this my due diligence and wrap it up for you. We walk through people-centric. We walk through the difference between a boss and a leader. Clearly, we don't want to be using that reference of boss, do we? Because we want to be leaders. We want to be people-centric leaders, and we want to be people-centric trainers. And we took a look at that. From there, we talked about what makes a trainer a trainer. What are those qualities? What are those strengths? And then once we're paired up with our new hire, what do we do then? We work through the checklist. We work through the on-the-job training diagram. We understand what's their learning style. And then we try to match that and teach according. We lean into all of those wonderful qualities that each of you already has. That's why you're a trainer for L&R, because your DM, someone in leadership saw that in you. They recognized it, that not only are you a subject matter expert, but you're a trainer. You have the patience and you have the know-how to train people to become subject matter experts. That's a phenomenal gift that each of you have on this call today. So please remember that. Own it, live it, and share it, because you are creating subject matter experts out there. You are creating the future of L&R, new ambassadors for this company. Okay? Develop your knowledge, develop your tools. That is critical to your success. And your primary tool is the field planning tool. Right? You will be able to train as much as you know. So just continue. I mean, trainers, we're all about learning anyhow. So generally, it's not just I want to teach other people, but when I'm excited about learning, I want to learn. Mike yesterday asked me about some books, and I turned around and I said, okay, well, which one? Because I mean, I've got all kinds of educational books here behind me. So what do you want me? What kind of concept? What is the topic? What do we want to learn? That's probably all of you as well. You're learners. So learn your tools, learn your concepts, learn the expectations so that you can be the best of the best, right? We don't ever want to settle. Like, okay, I know the basics. I know the company. I get by. Really? We don't want to stop there. Don't you want to challenge yourself and learn more and do more? You bet. Sky's the limit, ladies. You may want to pursue more. You may not just say, I don't want to just stay as an SFM. I want to go into sales. Okay. Watch the website, see what's available, continue developing yourself, participate in the trainings that L&R offers. You're not locked in, right? And we don't want to lock in our new hires. We want to give them the gift of learning, the gift of knowledge. You guys, you ladies, you've got this. And I'm here to support you. Okay? So thank you for participating today. Thank you for coming and joining me in the Senior Field Merchandise Leadership Workshop. I do want to encourage you to use what I'll send out to you. Use the attachments, read through them, and ask me questions. Okay? Because down the road, you're going to have questions. You're going to have things you want to explore. Give me a shout. I'm here to help. That's my job. Questions for me before we disconnect. Anything you want to ask me? Anything you have, need clarification on?
Linda, you will be sending us everything like back office and all that?
100% everything I just talked about.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, Linda, are
Yes.
we using LR1123 for training, or?
You are. Yes, you are. And I'd like you're going to charge 2.5 hours to it. And it's LR, LR1123. LR1123.
Thank you.
You are welcome. I'm glad you asked me. For some reason, I forget that every single time. Every time. All right, ladies, practice makes perfect. All right, go create ambassadors, go create a subject matter experts, and continue to develop yourselves. You got this. Thank you again for today.
You.
Have a great weekend and stay warm. Bye, ladies.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye.